exactly how I needed it to be. I had accidentally crafted a short clip. Didn't know you can craft one, as a matter of fact. That's what I wasn't expecting. See how this one goes. I could read to jog this up. So I have a plethora of insight I want to delve into for you, ladies and gentlemen. Because I know it's imperative to dialogue, discuss. And if there's any recommendations, many yarn for me to cover, I can based off of my older content that the Father allowed me to distribute. I have no issue with that because, one, breaking down, eliminating, dissecting, and very much elucidating is what's imperative to me. That way, it's far much more lucid, which means it's clear and understandable. It will be easy for you to digest depending on your learning concept, if you will, or just how you process information in general. So we're going to utilize this as the whole entire sequence. So, as I was reading this passage within this book that I'm currently reading, it's called Crafting Dynamic Dialogue, the complete guide to speaking, conversing, and arguing and thinking in fiction. And there's a passage in here that states, let me read it for you, ladies and gentlemen. What is dialogue's purpose? There is no exception to this, is to create tension in the present. And through the ongoing process, there will be what? Suspense. Suspense in dialogue is for much more imperative no matter if you are a nonfiction or fiction writer. And I agree wholeheartedly because it can't be the core's scene and what keeps the audience very invigorated and captured in what the holistic themes within the catalyst, depending on how the director and how they're capable of delving into the speaker or the poet or the character's essence, if you will. Their essence is intertwined with the characteristics, is intertwined with their features, their attributes, and the factors that are undergoing with how they have implanted them. So stepping into the character and you behaving the way they need to behave, or you interacting the way they need to interact based off of a certain frequency, tune, an instrumental, a chord, a rhythm. It can be any nuance that you've observed in this day to day. And it's so imperative that we have the opportunity of becoming who the Father needs us to be when we are interacting and dialoguing and conversing amongst each other. And I know how imperative it is with me being an individual who was quiet and very non-talkative. So I was essentially taciturn throughout this time. But that's when the enemy was attempting to keep my mouth shut. But I'm grateful the Father did a 180 on me in regards to speaking and being articulate and eloquent. But that just came from mentors, my parent, teachers, and admin assisting me. But ultimately, it was the Father constructing it and orchestrating the whole entire scene. Me being able to be the eyewitness testimony and those who can walk with you in your journey, who can attest to what they've excessively observed, even in themselves when they were younger, is enlivened. It's invigorating for them. and it's extremely grounding for them in front of us all. I'm blessed. It's a pleasure to meet you all. I'm just touching on a plethora amount of topics at this very moment. It's a pleasure to meet you all. And I'm taking on a day at a time. How are you, ladies and gentlemen? 'Cause I would love to know. And if you, ladies and gentlemen, have any topics that you want me to touch on, I can. Love the content, want to start streaming. I have enough subscribers. I'll just do it. Just do it. Even if you don't have that many. You said Joe lasted. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed. I've just been blessed, pretty much, taking it one day at a time, per usual. It's a pleasure to meet you all. But I mentioned to just start. Don't worry about the external means, nor what is not present yet. The Father will bring it in because He is going to orchestrate it. And I work out a great amount just for the jawline tutorial, so to speak. But start out, no matter how much little means you have, because what I learned throughout my time, just spending time with Him, is that the more you are with the little means, if you will, is how much you will get to know who He is, if that makes any sense. So the more you have without, the more you'll be able to manage. You won't be able to cope, but you'll be able to manage. Because those little means can be just what you needed in that scenario. And with you not necessarily being scarce or being in a herd mentality, you'll have that privilege, knowing who He is. But it's a pleasure to meet you all, sincerely. It definitely is. But let me pivot back into the framework of dialoguing, why it's imperative to build tension and suspense. And it all comes down to how much intensity that is within you, meaning how much pressure can be built up between you and whom you're dialoguing with. Because I know how much many can't do so. But let me enlist this. Let me throw out a scenario for you all where I've actually had the privilege of dialoguing with a plethora of individuals. So I could take one dialogue that I've had with this one gentleman. He was a mentor of this other mentee. And one key takeaway that stood out to me as he was dialoguing with me was a very cliche phrase. Very cliche. And one of those cliche phrases was, I wouldn't let you teach me because you haven't got your feet wet. Now, with me just sitting there and excessively analyzing, paused, because that's what you do. You have to pause. If you don't pause, you won't be able to see what the Father's presenting for you and with you in regards to the lesson that He is presenting in that scenario. Because many will disregard that. They will admit that. They will put it off to the sidelines because they make it about themselves. And we can't do that. Not in this lifetime. Because we must love in general. And He's going to reevaluate us based off of the love that has been distributed based off the elements that He's instilled within us. Many don't take that ever into account. And I mean ever. Because it always leads back to that one inquiry that He's going to ask you when you do part ways from your vessel. And that is, what did you do for me out of love? He's not going to ask you about your social status, your credentials, your report, the reports that you've made, the work that you've most likely done, because your deeds and your works don't matter to Him if He's not in it. Meaning the embodiment of love has to be in it. I am very blessed. Take it one day at a time, per usual. I'm grateful to be alive and give the Father the exaltation and the honor. Cause I yearn to go live. I'm like, let me just go live. Cause why not? Why not? That's for certain. I don't see why not. It's gonna start a Q&A like, wow. Okay. No, I won't do the Q&A today. But if y'all got any questions y'all yearn to ask me, go right ahead. Just make sure when you do ask me the inquiries, that is backed up by actual evidence, because I've seen it time in and time out. Should let you ting. You'll definitely have to elaborate on what that means. Let you ting. Nimish. But definitely ask me inquiries. I will answer them as long as they're backed up by actual evidence. Because me said, am I AI? I've got asked that so many times. No, I'm not AI. This is me. This is definitely me. That's funny though. I've got asked that so many times. That is just hysterical to me. But no, I'm very much real and authentic. I'm not synthetic at all. I'm grateful that I'm not. Just the Father, He takes time with His creations. The more you're in Him, the more clear it becomes as far as truth goes. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. And don't be shy with the inquiries. Please don't. As long as it's not intertwined with politics, I'm not I'm not jumping in that lane. Not at all. It could be any other inquiry. So why am I AI? Artificial intelligence, that's funny. That is hysterical. I appreciate you asking me that. The inquiries. I really do. Nimish. 123. But believe me, I'm not AI. As intellectual and handsome as I am, I'm not AI. I'm not AI. But of course, I've been delving back into a great amount of reading in my lifetime. I am now beginning to read a PDF file by John Eckhart. It's called Demon's Hit List. Does anybody know what that is at all? Because I can enlighten you on a brief summary, because I don't want to spoil it. But I do recommend reading it, delving deeper into what we utter on a day-to-day basis. So where am I from? I'm from the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia, if you will. Oh, I ain't got DC out in. Oh, they don't got AI out in DC, do they? Nimish. And it's a pleasure to meet you, by the way. I do pray and intercede all is well, and no weapons formed against you shall ever prosper. Remember that. Let every mouth, tongue, and lip raised up against you be condemned holistically. And just know that your DNA and lineage is on point. And go right ahead. I have no issues. Do I support Tharies? Tharians? Did I pronounce that right? Tharians? Enlighten me what a Tharian is. Are you the son of Robin? Hold on. Do I support Tharians? What's a Tharian? You definitely have to enlighten me on that. I'm so out of the loop. You definitely gonna have to enlighten me. Are you the son of Robin? Which Robin? Too many Robins. It's a pleasure to meet you all. It's a blessing. Oh, you don't know? I'm actually very oblivious. I stay much more of my time with the Father, reading, and of course, uploading and editing, and of course, handling majority of the tasks that He assigns me to. I mean, I'm kept out of the loop. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you'll definitely have to enlighten me. Third short term for trope is someone who identifies psychologically or spiritually as non-human animal, meaning their inner sense of self is animalistic. Pleasure to meet you, Obes. Oh, wow. Third short, okay. Someone who identifies psychologically or spiritually as a non-human animal. Oh, wow. Wow. Mm. I know exactly, like Wolverine. Search on Google. That's fascinating. Identify psychologically or spiritually as non-human animal. Non-human animal. That sounds just like a Nephilim creature. Essentially, those folklore creatures. At least they're intertwined with the Nephilim, if you will. Because during that time, even in the garden, there weren't just Nephilim and fallen angels. There were quite literally other creatures that spend the test of time. And yes, there are fossils of them too. And since we're in the end times, majority of the veil is getting thinner and thinner, which is the Holy Spirit, if you will. Be cautious uttering that. Very cautious. What are we talking about? I am emphasizing on the interpretation of what a Therian is. Because Mary had enlightened me. And I had perpetuated that. That sounds like a Nephilim creature to me. Just from the research that I've done. And me excessively watching other videos as well, and even articles, eyewitness testimony. It's all entwined with a lot of isms, and of course, occults, if you will. I do intercede and pray that majority of the system doesn't attempt to take me out, Lord forbid. Oh, wow. Whoa, that's understandable. Have a blessed one. Could have been a figure of speech for the most part. No, no problem at all. Make sure you keep your head safe. But of course, if y'all have any other inquiries, definitely ask me. I have no issue with that. The fact that it's psychologically and spiritually non-human, but it's more animalistic, yeah, yeah. I was right on that. I was definitely right on that. This is pure entertainment. This is like an amusement running tally for me. Quite literally. But for the most part, that is comical to me. Oh, these comments get me. Man, hmm. Do I support Atharian? I support Yeshua the Messiah. That's who I stand by, holistically. Because me, I don't like getting caught up into the worldly nonsense. But the Father implanted us to be here in order to make certain that we bring majority of the lost sheep to Him. It's not even about us, and it never will be. And I'm grateful. Pluto's AI escaped from Pluto. That is hysterical. That is hysterical. Man, that is hysterical. But of course, it has been a blessing to see a whole nother day. Let me get right back into it. Since I have the book here, as a matter of fact, let me do like this. Percentage is my phone on 11. Okay. Welcome back. It's a pleasure to meet you, Murray. I do pray and see your Robert didn't take you too far off of there. But yeah, since I do have the book here, go ahead. Go ahead. Say, are you KSI, brother? That is funny. No, he doesn't have a little brother besides Deji. At least another one besides Deji. That is comical. Am I like, that's comical. He said, oh, he's the better version. I mean, I've gotten compared to Tay Diggs, Duke Dennis, Ron Sono, and a lot of other individuals. Felix, it's a pleasure to meet you, Felix, a plushie that is coming soon. My owner is a 3D model and a 3D artist. Oh, wow. Recommend if anybody, yeah, if anybody want a plushie, by all means, go ahead to him and support Jeff. Can I get it for free? The disease, what British? But does anybody yearn for the plushie? Can't wait for people to get me soon. The final product is going to be cute. By all means. And Jeff, Squirt and Jeff, these two individuals here, or is it one? The big forehead disease. I can't wait for people to get me soon. How long have you been doing this product? Or at least crafting the product? Thank you. Thank you. Say product, thank you too much. So Jamal Forum, the rookie. Not at all. Not at all. I appreciate you, Jeff, holistically. Thank you. No, I'm not, Jamal. Not at all. But of course, let me jump right back into it for y'all. So, with me beyond this chapter, I'm going to break down majority of these passages because I'm getting right back into reading. And this is The Purpose-Driven Life by Rick Warren, of course. My dog died last year. Can I bring him? No. Not at all. And if that was possible, that would be witchcraft and other forms of witchcraft. I wouldn't do that at all. They still live with you in your heart. No, I'm serious. They still live with you in your heart. But I wouldn't advise that. But I will keep you in my intercessions and prayers. Always will. The almost built fully forever. Wow. Coming out. Wow. Congratulations. Exactly. Exactly, Mari. Exactly. You're special. Now don't be rude. You know, once I'm being splenetic, no emotions are jogging up, but just relax, Mari. Just deep breaths. Deep breaths. Get that you reminisced about the past. Hi, Jeff. Jeff's my second grader. Wow. Oh, wow. Felix. Pleasure to meet you, Felix. Thank you. Thank you, Oops. Thank you. I take no credit for it. Not at all. But for the most part, let me get back into it. I'm going to stay back on track. So, this chapter is called We Will Be Reevaluated in Our Love, which is the third reason to make learning to love the goal of your life. It is what we will be evaluated in eternity. It's that simple. How can we talk? Tell you something. Gotta stay focused. But for the most part, one of the ways the Father measures spiritual maturity in other aspects of maturity is by the quality of your relationships. They do. It's my owner. Favorite task to conduct. It is making certain the Father is pleased, satisfied, and content in my approach. That is pretty much my primary objective with the other task. Kill human. Appreciate that. Can't talk. Wow. Appreciate it. I'm more than actually. I appreciate it though. I take no credit at all. I take no credit. I'm just grateful to see another day, holistically. But with that being uttered, in this particular passage, it is pretty self explanatory. That is how he measures maturity. Yeah. The quality of our relationships, because that is what life is all about. He's not a toy, he's AI. She had an affection? Oh, wow. Wow. Well, of course, I can intercede and pray on behalf of your lady, including you. And you have to do it as well as for her. And she has to do it for you. Because I could touch on relationships that ain't really never an issue. It comes and goes. Granted, like my dad. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Of course. Of course. Because many take out of context on what life is just based off of what has been indoctrinated and encultured and institutionalized. And with us being the game changers, if you will, we have to confront the root issues that have arisen within our lineage, within our DNA, within our bloodline. Do you know Pt.1? No, I don't. Do you know my owner once made a mod for a game that is too overpowered? Oh, congratulations. 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 But for the most part, make certain that you don't brag or boast. So can you suggest me some sci-fi movies? Mm. That's a great inquiry. Ah, make certain. Oh, mm, sci-fi films. Oh, it's typically the sci-fi films that came out. If I had to put a halt on a particular chronological timeline on sci-fi films, uh, say 20. They're not like they used to be. Uh, 20. It's either 18 or 19. He's being rude. Who is being rude today? No, he's mentioning me, by the way. He's not emphasizing that's you. Murray, Felix Murray, he's not emphasizing about you. He's emphasizing about me. He's trolling me, by the way. Do not pay that no mind. Don't pay the comments no mind. But Stranger Things, it's not a bad series. Granted, it's not a bad series at all. But as far as some of the best sci-fi films that I've watched came back then, far back then. It's Melody. Pleasure to meet you, Melody. Pleasure to meet you. Grandmother's phone. I broke my. Oh wow. Oh wow. Said, can you sing for me? Okay. uh, but let me get back into it so I don't discount it. But of course, in heaven, the Father won't say, tell me about your career, your bank account, your hobbies, as I've stated. He won't ask about the external means. That's what many disregard because they go, said, why do I have a Chinese accent? I take that as a compliment, as a matter of fact. But of course, y'all behave. I shall be right back. So since my phone has to charge, bear with me. Bear with me. I am back, by the way. It's a pleasure to meet you all. Melody, Nimish, how y'all behaving for the most part? It's because my phone is actually charging. Quite literally. Y'all have to bear with me. Bear with me. But of course, let me delve back into the passages. So right here, where I finished off, one of the ways the Father measures spiritual maturity is by the quality of your relationships. So you would have to ask yourself, how was my relationships with those I've previously encountered and who I am going to encounter? And what is that going to look like based off of these subcategories? Parents, peers, mentors, enemies, and last but not least, if you do work, coworkers. If you yearn for me to utter those 5 titles, I have no issue with that. Because he is going to make certain that you are measured, because we're not qualified. We're not qualified based off of our works. We're qualified by our calling. Let me utter that again. We're not qualified by our works, we're qualified by our calling. Many may disregard that. They may renounce it. They may even repose it. Just put off to the sidelines. But it is imperative. Go ahead, ask the question. Relax. Relax, Melody. My phone is charging. Mention that. I had to bear with me. But of course, that is exactly how he's going to measure you. To be exact. So, is that artificial intelligence? That's comical. But let me proceed down these passages. Instead, he will review how you treated each other, people particularly those in need. Yeshua said, the way to love him is to love his family and care for the practical needs. Truly I tell you, just as you did is to one of the least of those you are members of my family, you did it to me. So in a lack of a better term, what he's emphasizing is depending on how you've treated others around you will all determine how you treated him, because we're made in his image. I'm charging my phone, literally. I get that you yawn to see my face, but we can't be distracted. Can't be distracted today. We gotta stay focused. We gotta make sure we get these lessons out. That's funny. Never been shy, actually. Quiet, yes, but shy, no. I remember growing up. This is off context, but it's still in context. I remember growing up with me being taciturn. I was never shy. Very, yeah, I was very demure, yeah, but diffident, no. Oh, you must be emphasizing about Nimish. Well, let me proceed. When you transfer into eternity, you will leave everything else behind. Does that make sense so far? When he means by everything, he means all external means. I mean all external means. For the most part, let me proceed on this. The only thing that counts as faith expressing itself through love. In every other quality, trait, and attribute and characteristic that's in him. Said he is like 50. Are y'all going back and forth right now? For the most part. Oh, it's English. It's very much English. It's just incomprehensible to most. Because I'm actually utilizing intermediate English. I'm not bilingual. I know. But it all comes down to how much content you consume on a day-to-day basis. Hold on, how old are you two? Of course, Melody, I know you're 11. How old are you, Nimish? Welcome. Welcome. It's a pleasure. It is a pleasure. Pleasure to meet you all. But for the most part, let me proceed. Knowing this, I suggest that when you wake up every morning, you kneel by your bed or the side of the edge of it and pray this. Father, whether I get anything else done today, I want to make certain that I spend time loving you and loving other people, because that's what life is all about. I don't want to waste this day. Why would the Father give you another day if you're going to waste it? That's the inquiry. Why would the Father grant you another day if you just waste it? That's really the inquiry. Most gotta ask themselves. In the best expressions of love, which is the important nuances, can be measured by how much time we are willing to invest in them. The more time you give to something, the more you reveal its importance and value to you. So the more you invest in it, the more value it will bring. But once you already have that particular compassion in their minds towards that individual, or that emotional intelligence, or that hospitality that they have to demonstrate on a day-to-day basis towards others. Say, will I be live tomorrow? I actually will. Most likely. Yeah, I most likely will. But if I'm not, I'll most likely be uploading previous content that I've had. Congratulations. What do I do for a living? I conduct inspirational speaking and life coaching. It's a pleasure to meet you, Melody. Have a blessed one. But me, I conduct vocal communication online. Since I have not been granted a silver spoon, the Father allows me to distribute what little means I do have and utilize that to my advantage. Because many have done it, Many have not. But me, just setting myself apart. And I'm doing it all from my phone. All from my phone. That's exactly what I conduct. If you can, I got you. Put the Father first, always. Don't lose sight of who He is through you. Because as it is written, all things above the earth and the earth, visible and invisible, can find a purpose in Him. So make certain you stay in Him. Cultivate a relationship where you're interested, where you're curious. You have to delve further into who He is. Start with the Gospels. I would start with the Old Testament. Start with the Gospels. Despite His nature and complexity being in it, but before you delve into the scriptures, you have to intercede and pray to let Him grant the understanding, knowledge, and wisdom that He's endowed into His Son. But don't focus on any external distractions. Because if you let your priority be in what you invest in, I just touched on this. Whatever you invest in is going to be value to you. And every input maximizes an output. That's finances. That's personal accounting. That's also personal finances. That's business management right there. That's key principles in financial literacy and economics. But for the most part, you have to be cautious because we're energy beings. With us being energy beings, what happens? We all vibrate in a certain tune, certain particle, certain atom, certain neuron and proton. If you zoom out of that neuron and proton, what does it look like? A number line. Same with our DNA. And I'm just emphasizing on a collection of atoms. Just a collection of them. Now, does that make sense? Let's get left. I do pray and intercede, that makes sense. For the most. Okay. Okay. But make certain that He's put first, always. Stay in intercession and prayer. Read what is intertwined with your character the most. Find out what is going to keep you captivated. To have you delve further into it, that's where you become enthusiastic and passionate. Once you have that desire, there's not much that can stop you. And anytime you feel that adrenaline, I've touched on a video on this. I've touched the video on this. When you feel that adrenaline, stay in that scenario that you're in. Stay in the process. Don't deviate, don't decline, don't shrink yourself. Don't do that ever. When you're in a scenario where adrenaline starts to build up, you take that risk. But you have others around you who's going to push you to take that risk, to take that leap that nobody else most likely will. And when you do feel that adrenaline, that's the best feeling that you'll ever feel, because you're stepping out of your comfort zone. And that's where you'll learn far much more about the Father that you did not know. Because He demonstrates. He rarely speaks, but He demonstrates. But speaking is also a form of what? Art. It's a form of expression, if you will. And that expression can be demonstrated non-verbally through our body language. So greater is he who is in me, who is greater than the world. Love that verse. That's what it means, for the most part. Does that make sense, Nimish? I pray and intercede that it makes sense. Because that was just a little gem or two that I love to drop. But let me proceed. Of course. Of course, I'm grateful it did. And I love assisting individuals to confront root issues that have arisen. No problem. No problem at all. I love assisting individuals to make certain they become who the Father needs them to be as well. In their lineage, their bloodline, their DNA. Of course, how one can set themselves up to artificial intelligence. Yeah, I agree. To some degree, if it's utilized about, if it's utilized with the enemy, then yes. But with the Father it can be, because he's still in control. The enemy controls it temporarily, or at least he participates into it, doesn't necessarily own it. But it all comes down to where your intent lies. The more one focuses on it, the more one will quite literally manifest it, if you will. But I rarely like to utilize that main entry. Rarely. It will materialize. Because it comes down to, thank you. Wow, India. Pleasure to meet you. Pleasure to meet you. Amen. Pleasure to meet you. Thank you. And check out all the content. I'm recommended. I've touched on a lot of Heaven's Courts material that the Father has pressed in me to actually convey. I don't take no credit. Pleasure to meet you. My name is Artreus Robinson. By the way, I am Artreus. That is my name. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm grateful. Eternally. And mind you, when you, ladies and gentlemen, subscribe to me, this is your ministry. It's not even my ministry. It's a ministry with the Father. He utilizes me as a conduit for you. This is for you, ladies and gentlemen. It's not for me. Because he wants us to serve his people. Not please his people, but serve his people. And that's what I love. Love serving. Love making certain that you, ladies and gentlemen, become who he needs you to be through him. Not can be, no, will be. Because what we see time in and time out is the same pattern. It's so conventional. That's understandable, Nemish. I appreciate you for joining. And no, I love you everlastingly. I'm going to just keep this up. You have a blessed one, holistically. No weapon formed against you shall ever prosper. You have favor in the Father. Keep him holistically in your heart. Don't lose sight of who he is, no matter what an individual attempts to utter about you. Thank you. Thank you. Never be proud. Always stay humble. Always utter that you're honored. Never humble. I said never humble, never prideful. Excuse that. That's what I am here. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Have a blessed one. Let me get back into it. Let's see. Okay. So I'm going to break down more of these passages for the most part. There we go. There we go. Gotta remain humble, honored, very civil. Because humility sets the blueprint for every other trait, quality, and attribute that is in you. It is unlockable. How can it be unlockable? By you taking what? The necessary steps to what? Sacrifice. Sacrificing consequence sets the blueprint. It is the architecture. With every decision, option, choice that is in us, it's embarked in us. It sets the cusp for what echoes, even in the kingdom, and definitely in hell. And the enemy, he's not going to love it. If you're walking with the Father, he's walking behind you and with you. There'll be times where you're in the ministry of absence, which is when he makes himself undetectable. Many like to intellectualize the truth, by the way. That's a disclaimer. Keep that in your mind, always. And you cannot intellectualize the truth. Because if you intellectualize the truth, what's going to happen? It's going to hurt your brain. Time in and time out. And I've seen it from a plethora of individuals. And why is that? It's because they have a God complex. They want it to be in their way, which is they want control. Why do they want control? Because they want to be like the Father. But here's the kicker. What I know about the enemy is that he's going to clearly, when he gets invited into your vessel, he will ultimately take control over you. And since he hates the Father and he hates you, what's going to happen? His thoughts, not really his thoughts. How can I describe it? The evil, there we go. The evil, the personification of evil that enters you is going to hate him. Not necessarily the vessel. It's going to hate him. So those who enter hell start gnashing their teeth, spitting at the Father, even when he was in the vessel that he was. Even when he unveiled himself to Abraham, he came into his vessel. And that was Yeshua. But when they were gnashing individuals, at least individuals who are in hell, they quite literally gnashed their teeth, outwardly, because of them spending time in their sin. Or shall I say their iniquity. Because your iniquity is the unrepentant sin that you have not been filled up with what? That critition, which is that conviction. Welcome. Welcome, Dennis. Pleasure to meet you. Pleasure to meet you. I do intercede and pray that you are having such a marvelous day. Oh, I mean a marvelous day. But I'm touching on a very imperative subject. One being the best expressions of love. The best expressions of love is what? The elements that are in you. The traits, qualities, and attributes that are in you. They become the acronym, right? When they become what? Distorted. So when individuals have utilized certain phrases that I know all too well, such as, oh, I'm a good this, or I'm gonna be caring or prideful the next. That doesn't work. That just does not work. Never works. I don't remember the last time where that actually worked, where one actually attempted to be conceited and caring the next. It doesn't work. That is you playing with polarity. It makes no sense if one wants to stay in a ambiguous state. It means you're gonna be possessed by some wayward spirit. I don't like that's gonna save you. When it definitely doesn't. And it definitely does actually. In actuality, for the most part. But in my community, I added a one-on-one call session. You will see it in my link tree in the description to book a one-on-one call with me. If you're serious about it, you will definitely book the call. Because this is to help you confront the root of the issue that has arisen within you. And so we can learn. That way you don't have to put on any gimmicks. You don't have to put on any facades. You don't have to compromise. You don't have to put on any mask. Not with me, because I'm gonna be able to sense it. Some very sensitive energies, but I will know based off what the Holy Spirit does in me. I will know. But for the most part, it is a blessing. It certainly is. But let me delve back into the best expressions of love in this time. I gotta delve back into it. So, the importance of these nuances can be measured by how much time we are willing to invest in them. Right? Input equals output. Input will always equal output. Time is your most precious gift because you only have a set amount of it. Factual. You can make more money, but you can't make more time. When you give someone your time, you are giving them a portion of your life that you'll never get back. Your time is your life. And being the personification of time, too. But it's always imperative to salvage it. If you don't salvage your time, you will never be able to conduct what is imperative to you. It's that simple. Yet why most don't actually comprehend it. It'll never be rocket science. I mean, ever. But that is a blessing to go live for the, this is my third time? Fourth time. This will be the fourth time me going live. Me just chillaxing. I get to breathe now. I'm just on here for until 4 o'clock. Then I'm gonna get off. I'm gonna get back to uploading for the most part. Let me see if I can. Okay. Nah. Okay. Okay. Cool. Is it right there? Mini Palette. It's a pleasure to meet you. Why is this acting up today? I'm not even going to fret on that. But for the most part, it is imperative that one salvage the time that they're investing. Because if you don't, you will waste it everlastingly. And I remember this passage in there, this current book that I'm reading, states, let me see if I can state it for verbatim, that if the Father granted you another day, why spend time wasting it? Really ask yourself that inquiry. Father granted you a whole nother day. Why am I wasting it? And then you gotta measure the variables of what's imperative in your life. You gotta ask yourself that. Because if you don't ask yourself that, there's gonna be an issue. And it's really that simple. It's really that simple. And I agree, it is a precious gift. Let me delve back down on this. It's not enough just to say relationships are important. We must prove it by investing time in them. Words alone are worthless. I agree, especially if they cannot be backed up by the intent that you are distributing. Because your intention is always going to play an imperative piece, it's going to play an imperative role on what he's sending you to do. You can't escape me. Man, you have a lot to learn. But for the most part, many have to take that into account. Because I am a shorts content creator. That is me. If this goes up, I'm taking into account. Should I upload it? Hmm. Should I upload it? I don't see why not. But for the most part, let me proceed. Viral one day. I'm not really vexed on virality. If I do, then I do. I'll have a blessed one, Melody. Pleasure to meet you once more. That is for certain. But of course, let me proceed. It's not enough to say relationships. Words alone are useless. Yep. My children, our love should not be just words and talk. It must be by true love, which shows itself in action. I will always utter this. I will always utter this. Just by the way I was raised, and I can't speak for everybody else, love was always demonstrated. Even if the enemy attempted to market a plethora of predictive programming, which is the magic that's utilized in it, is quite literally films, series, cartoons, etc. They're all in movies. So one has to have a cryptographic analytical lens in order for that to happen. Take time and effort, and the best way to spell love is time. Mm. The essence of love is not what we think or do or provide for others, but how much we give of ourselves. Men in particular often don't understand this. Many have said this to me. Mm. I don't understand my wife and kids. I provide everything they need. I love that. The essence of love is not what you think or do or provide for others, but by how much we give ourselves. I love that. It's how much we give ourselves. It's not by how much you provide or do or think. I love that. It's not about how much you think or do. It is about how much you give to yourself. How much time you invest into you will all come down to how you treat others. But the more time you spend in the Father, even in your solitude or just around others, recommend it in solitude because that's when He does speak, is when you are in your solitude. It always will be. When you're in your solitude, that's when He can speak to you. If you ask, you'll receive it. It's just that simplistic. Many think it's rocket science. But here's the kicker. If you're not keen and inquisitive to do so, you don't have that desire, earnestness, and willingness to do so, then he's not gonna answer. If you're not genuine or sincere or authentic about what you're asking him, and if you're not specific about what you're asking, then he's not gonna answer it. Now, if you've been disobedient to him, of course he's not gonna answer. That's just common sense. He's a father at the end of the day. And what does he have to do most? Discipline. Discipline, discipline, discipline. That is the nuance of this lifetime. How does he discipline you? By humbling you. He has to humble you. You have to get humbled in order for your senses to come back. So you don't forget who you are through him. Because if you forget who you are through him, obviously, you don't know what majority of core principles mean. You don't even know what the basics mean. Whether that's meaning, origin, identity, destiny. You don't even know what truth means. That's funny. But I'm most likely to end it for the most part. But I'm gonna still break these down. Yeah, break these down and then end it. Okay. So the essence of love is not by what you do, think, or provide. It is about what you offer to yourself. Got that down pat. Men in particular often don't understand this. Factual. And I'm gonna always utter this. If you do have children, be there for them no matter how much they get on your nerves. They may have you peevished. They may agitate you. But I will always emphasize this. Depending on how much they agitate you will often reveal what is resurfacing based off of residue, tendencies, cycles, patterns. It's a mirroring effect there because they are aspects of you when you were dealing with your inner turmoil, your inner strife, your inner discord, your unresolved, unintended conflict. Depending on the generational curses you have not severed, or I'd state the offspring of sin that you haven't dealt with, you haven't cleansed out, you haven't let the Father vanquish, conquer, and annihilate holistically. Now that's troubling because your children have to bear what you did not confront. So many have to be cautious, be mindful, be aware, be discerning, be very vigilant. It is very imperative, it's crucial, because if you don't, you're going to risk you not having the privilege of confronting that root issue for your children. You won't even be able to show them. And there's no playbook. There's never going to be a playbook on how to accurately, well, never mind on that. There is a playbook too, and that's his word. His word will always be the manual, will always be the guidebook. But if one has if one has certain traits, qualities, and attributes that is going to help them spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, biologically, and emotionally for the child that's in the picture, then you be able to teach them. But that right there is a task in itself. Jesus is a task in itself. Father, thank you. But let me proceed. Many have said to me, I don't understand my wife and kids. I provide all they need. What more could they want? They want you. It's that simple. Yep, it is that simple. Yeah. Yeah. Your eyes, your ears, your time, your attention, your presence, your focus, your time. Mm. Relationships take time and effort in the ways of love. That is the best expression of love. Time. Time. Time and how you utilize your traits, qualities, and attributes. Time and how your presence and attention intensify with whom you're with. Time in which you will be capable of salvaging it and cherishing it with the plethora of other individuals. Now, that is so imperative to me. Time. Hmm. I remember throughout my time, and I've had the privilege of knowing what it means to embrace the moment. So you're gonna stay if you answer the question. I mean, whether you leave or go, I'm not gonna ever force you. But that does sound like some kind of threat. It's like a little undertone there of coercion. But I don't mind answering the question. Rephrasing it in a more polite and enriching manner is more better. I think I'm gonna stay if you answer my question. I mean, whether you stay or go, it's up to you. But I can answer your question as long as it's backed up by actual evidence. Now, if it's not, I'll be able to detect it and discern it. So be cautious in what you ask. Be very cautious. Mm, got him up out of there. Yeah, I ain't playing with nobody. Think this is a game. This ain't no game. I take this serious. If you're going to ask me an inquiry and it's backed up by passive aggressiveness, that was in a tone of passive aggression. But if you're not willing to cooperate, right? I'm not gonna answer that question. You know what I mean? If one is attempting to be presumptuous against me, I'm not gonna answer that question. That means boldly disrespectful. I'm not gonna do that. But I will bless you. I will certainly bless you. And allow the Father to engineer it holistically. For the most part, let me proceed. Mm, not much can take the place of that. The most desired gift of love is not diamonds or roses or chocolate. It is focused attention. Yep. It's how much you give that individual your presence. I remember reading an article in reference to that once in a lifetime individual, male or female. And what stood out was them being an engaged listener, not just an active one, not a qualified one, but an engaged one. When you're engaged to whom you're dialoguing with, it shows them that you not just value, cherish, and salvage them, but you see them the way they see you. And that's really the bottom line. See them the way they see me, and it's never gonna stop. But let me proceed. Love concentrates so intently on another that you forget yourself at the moment. Mm. Mm. Focused attention says, I value enough to give you my most precious asset. You know what another asset is? Not just your time, but your gift, your presence, your essence, your character, your memories. These are assets that's going to stick with you throughout your time. And it's no issue with you delving back into your past to pick up the lessons that you never did. It's no issue, which is retrograde. Now, if you are just dwelling on your past, complaining, you're letting the emotions fester instead of confronting the root issues and the components and variables that have laid waste, then you're going to suffer. You're going to spend time in anguish. That's remorse right there, in actuality. And anguish is a principality, and it has offspring of sin that have to do with sorrow, to be exact. That's very troubling. One does not confront the root of the issue that has arisen. Because at that point, since you're not confronting it, you're just flirting with the enemy. You're having dialogues with him because you've invited him in. It's that simple. It's that simple. Now, if you have any questions, anybody has any questions for me, I have no issues with answering them. Not at all. I have no issues with answering the questions. One wants to allow me to answer them, I will answer them. All right. But of course, it's being highlighted. Love concentrates on intently on another. Whenever you give your time, you're making a sacrifice, and the sacrifice is the essence of love. That's powerful. Yeshua molded this. Be full of love for others, following the example of Christ, who loved you and gave himself to God as a sacrifice to take away your sins. So anytime we are employing love, we are demonstrating who the Father is in totality. Many may not love that, but it is what it is. It is what it is. And that's the best ways of demonstrating love, is you being so selfless. Being selfless. But you also being more discernful on how much time that you're granting. Because it's not about what you think, what you do, or what you provide. It is in the effort that is being showcased within the time that you're investing in that individual or that notion, which is an idea or a concept. It can be you innovating, which is one of my primary objectives, is to teach individuals, instruct individuals, counsel individuals, coach individuals on how to innovate. Because I have to set you ladies and gentlemen up to become who you need you to be. So you can ignite and spark what's necessary. And I did post in my community post in reference to a one-on-one call. If one is serious, and this is just strictly a one-on-one dialogue with me, where you can just take the barriers off, put the walls down. You don't have to put on no gimmick, no mask, no compromise. Just be you. We'll have one-on-one dialogue to help you confront the root of the issue that has arisen within you. If one is serious, then it's going to happen. If one is not serious, then I'll know. I will know. And I love being me throughout this time. I love the mere factor that I've grown, elevated, I've conducted what he's needed me to. Allow me having to be somebody that I'm not. I'm done with that. That phase that I was in, in it's called spiritual imposter syndrome, and I cultivated a video on this. It's gonna come out in reference to one, you dealing with the spirit of unworthiness, two, you dealing with the spirit of fear, three, you dealing with the spirit of anxiousness, and four, you dealing with the spirit of self-condemnation. I know what it feels like. That made them flee. That made them flee. Oh my God. Many don't love when I touch on these topics because it gets deep. It gets deep. But it all comes down if one is willing to confront that root issue that has arisen. Oh, that made that individual flee. But if one is ready to confront the root issue that has arisen within their lineage, let me know. Please, let me know. Because I know you want to become who he needs you to be. And I know you don't want to waste your time at all. And I'm really yearning to push this out. This one-on-one consultation, if you will. Between me and you, we have an authentic dialogue that is very genuine and sincere. And we both learn. It will be as if you're dialoguing with the Father himself. Even though I don't acknowledge it, nor do I take credit. Because I'm but a mere vessel. I'm but the mere salt and dust of the earth. And I prefer to be this way. First, stay humble in totality. Because he's going to exalt those who lower themselves. And those who stand up by their own will, they're going to be lowered. That's how it goes. That is how it goes. Literally. Let me proceed. Love means giving up, yielding my preferences, comfort, goals, security, money, energy, or time for the benefit of someone else. Now, one has to ask themselves, are they ready for that? I love the inquiry that I got asked yesterday by one of my mentors. He uttered, are you ready to give up all means in the name of someone else? Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't hesitate because I've procured a great amount. I've envisioned through the Father based off of what I am going to have through Him. But me, if I go viral, I go viral. If I don't go viral, then I don't. It's that simple. That's like least of my focus at this very moment. But if it does happen, then it does happen. I'm grateful because it's been entrusted to certain individuals. Most seeing this live, it's not by mere coincidence. It never is. It's always purposeful because he's going to entrust certain individuals to come out the woodworks, come out some kind of space, come out of their shell, and watch live. And it's not just out of mere entertainment. Yeah, yes, we could joke around. We're going to have a banter, and it's going to be joyful. But playing games, gotta get cut out. Gots to get cut out. Because I'm not here for that. I've seen too many individuals play games and not confront that root issue throughout my time. And that's just a naturalistic observation. Let me do this, though. Now I'm back in action. Okay. When it reaches 4 o'clock, I am most likely going to end it holistically. That way, you ladies and gentlemen have gathered majority of context. But let me proceed. Love means giving up, yielding my preferences, comfort, goals, security, money, energy, or time for the benefit of someone else. The best time to love is now. Sometimes procrastination is a legitimate response for a trivial task. But love is what matters most. It takes top priority. The word stresses this repeatedly. It does. It says, whenever we have the opportunity, we should do good to everyone. That's accurate. Use every chance you have for doing good. Whenever you possibly can, do good to those who need it. Never tell your neighbor to wait until tomorrow if you can help them now. Amen to that. Why is now the best time to express love? And hold on, let's piggyback into that. Don't just do it for those in need, do it in general. Do it in general. Put yourself aside. Your preferences, your goals, your security, your interests, your passions, your hobbies, your workspace. Your purpose is always going to be on point. Your calling is going to always be on point, meaning it's going to be secured, it's going to be protected, it's going to be functioning, and yes, it's going to be reevaluated. It's going to be reassessed by the amount of what? Adaptation skills you have. Why is now the best time to express love? Because you don't know how long you have the opportunity. That is very accurate. Circumstances change. Individuals die. Children grow up. You have no guarantee of tomorrow. That's accurate. Though we are immortal through the Father. And as long as you stay in Him, you still have to see tomorrow. Because it's in His will. Yes, it's in His will for you to see tomorrow. Wasn't, you wouldn't be here. At all. None of us would, as a matter of fact. But I'm reminded, of course, love you all. Thank you very much for the individuals who've joined. It is such a pleasure to see another day. I'm gonna most likely take a hiatus because my internet battery has completely withered. It always does, for the most part. But I'm grateful. It's a pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, that you have came in. Salvage this space. This is your safe haven. Just respect your time and respect the time. Let it be birthed in you holistically. And I shall see you all in the next video. That's Lessons of Insight.